Alireza Jafarzadeh is a Mideast analyst and also the president of Strategic Policy Consulting. He's also the author of The Iran Threat, and he joins us now for some analysis on this. Alireza, what's going on here? I know that you have a theory.
Well, certainly this is not a spontaneous action by some ragtag students who just decided to take over the embassy. This is a totally concerted effort, well planned by the Iranian regime in the highest levels, including the Supreme Leader Khamenei and Ahmadinejad and others, who are trying to use this opportunity to send a signal to the Western countries, including Britain, and they feel very vulnerable because Tehran is afraid that if the united stance by the Western countries, including UK, United States, and other Europeans, would further escalate in further sanctions and more pressure on the Iranian regime for their mischief-making and their nuclear program. And what if in the next step it would expand to reaching out to the opposition, because they're afraid that given the Arab uprising and what we've seen in the region, they're afraid that that could be extended to reignite the uprisings in Iran. And these kind of sanctions and pressure it could be a trigger factor that they want to avoid.
Mm-hmm. Now, if in some way it is in fact this storming of the compound is in fact tied into what the government's wishes are, what do they gain through this? Is this about igniting the passion of the people of Iran to be against Western nations?
Well, certainly this is what Tehran has wished for. They passed some legislation in the regime's parliament against the sanctions and against the pressure by the British government. What they intend to do, they know that this kind of a storming of the embassy wouldn't ignite, the public wrath or rally people behind them. This is not 1979. What they want to do, they want to boost the morale of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. They want to frighten the population that if the regime's forces are going this far of a storming of a foreign embassy, then they will continue to repress their own population. They basically want to send a signal to the Iranian population as well that this is how we're going to deal with things, but also sending a signal to Western countries to prevent them from escalating sanctions and pressure on the Iranian regime. And I think the Western countries should get the message that this is where Tehran is vulnerable. They are very defensive about the situation, and they need to step up pressure on the Iranian regime, expanding the sanctions, but also reaching out to the Iranian opposition.
Okay, I just want to point out that with this developing situation outside the British embassy, the British Foreign Office is denouncing this, of course. It's saying Iran has a clear duty under international law to protect diplomats in these offices. They say they are outraged. We know that this happened after hours, so the embassy hours were officially over, but we don't know if there were diplomats or staff inside. We're not hearing about, anyone coming out or being injured or anything in that nature. I want to ask you, Alireza, 2 weeks ago, there was a rather powerful explosion at an Iranian military base, and there was some suggestion, or question at least, was that explosion some sort of sabotage by Western nations, or was it in fact some sort of message that Iranian officials themselves were trying to send? What about that? What about the fact that this storming comes 2 weeks after that explosion at that Iranian military base?
Well, the explosion at the Iranian military base, it was called Modares Garrison. That was a missile site. That was a place that they were preparing a more advanced missile in order to launch within 3 or 4 days after that to show their military prowess. And it just went wrong, and the test failed, and it was a major disaster for the program. Not only the missile was exploded, but the entire team of the experts who were working on it, who were at the scene, they were all destroyed. So that was a major setback that came as a result of their preparation for launching a new missile in order to show muscle to the countries in the region. So in a way, yes, it is tied. The whole thing is that the Iran regime is trying to show power, that we are able to fend off any kind of decisiveness on the part of the countries in the region. But things are not going well for them because they're paranoid. They're afraid of what kind of backlash this whole thing is going to have internally. They're aware of the Arab Spring and what we had in Iran in 2009, the uprising, the end of the elections, and they know the population is very much dissatisfied and ready to explode.
Mm-hmm. What is Iran's leadership really afraid of? Is it afraid of, the Arab Spring progressing? Is it also afraid that Israel increasingly is getting impatient with its own nuclear ambitions? There's talk, just a couple of weeks ago, wasn't Iran saying, counting how many missiles it has pointed at Israel?
Well, they feel that they are under pressure clearly. Their nuclear program was exposed by the IAEA report, which clearly said that Iran was working on a bomb, basically, rather than a genuine nuclear energy program. So that was a major setback for Tehran, and they knew that with it will come all kinds of pressure and sanctions. A lot of countries in the region are threatened by the Iranian regime, including not just Israel, but a lot of the Arab countries would be very happy to see a change in Iran, a change in the regime. So they're preparing to fend that off, and they're aware of the tremendous potential in Iran that is way beyond whatever you've seen in the Arab world. There's been opposition against the regime for the past 30 years. The main opposition, the Mujahideen al-Khalq, the NEK, was the main organization that exposed all the major nuclear sites of Iran and exposing the terror network of the Iranian regime in Iraq and other places. They're afraid that they have the ability, the organizational ability, and the leadership to lead a movement to overthrow the Ayatollahs. So one thing they know for sure they need to do is to strengthen the position of the Revolutionary Guards, to have as many military maneuvers and show of force to fend off any kind of pressure by the Western countries or regional powers to insinuate as though Iran is different. Iran is not like the other Arab countries where change is imminent. Instead, they want to say we have the power. We are the ones who are threatening others.
All right. Well,
that's the message they want to send.
We continue to watch this latest development, and we've been showing you pictures. These are from Tehran, where a group of protesters has broken into the UK embassy compound. This during an anti-British demonstration. We'll keep our eyes on it. Our guest has been Alireza Jafarzadeh, a Mideast analyst and also author of The Iran Threat. We appreciate your time. Thank you.